is better than nothing. So this brings us to the completion of the project. The completion of the project would mean, in the case of a builder, the date on which the gray structure is complete, provided that such gray structure shall only be considered as completed when the roof of the top floor has been laid as per the approved plan. So what exactly is a gray structure? Anybody with expertise or any background from the construction industry, please type in your question answer box, in your feedback box, in your chat box, so that we can see what you think it is before I tell you what it is. And I'm going to give you a few seconds, maybe even a minute to do that. So please let your feedback come so we can see whether we have someone or some attendees from the construction background as well. By the way, I've got a very, very good question from Taha Askari, which I'll be answering, Taha, in the first Q&A break just shortly. Zishan Majid has answered brick structure. Okay. Muhammad Mazhar Hassan. Okay. So a lot of interest in the economic scenario, the implications, etc., etc. Okay. Okay. So basically, the crux of the feedback is the brick structure. I'm gonna give a few more seconds to see if we get any different feedback. Otherwise, I'll just continue and elaborate. Hamidur Rahman Saab says, gray structure is the dhancha, the unfinished structure. Okay, now that's very, very interesting. Nizam, can we unmute Hamid Sahab? I would like to discuss this. And while you are unmuting Hamid, I'll just like to make a quick announcement that today's session is the result not only of the members' feedback, the work of the taxation committee, which I'm honored to be chairing, and I would also like to thank our partners in other esteemed institutions. Some of the key figures from these institutions is attending today's session as well. So Lahore Chamber of Commerce and Industry, particularly my very good friend, Mr. Kashif Anwar from there, who proposed that this session should be held in a very timely fashion. Similarly, Lahore Tax Bar Association, another good friend and official of the bar, the VP, Mr. Ashik, who has also joined today's session, and many other friends from various bodies who suggested to us that ACCA, being one of the leading accounting bodies in Pakistan and the largest global accounting body, should hold this very important and groundbreaking session, helped us by motivating us and by providing us their feedback to organize and go for today's session. And let me just share this with you, and this should make you really proud, that as per my knowledge, ACCA is the first major accounting body to be holding a session. In fact, the first major organization to be holding a session on the Tax Laws Amendment Ordinance 2020 in Pakistan. So that's a big, big leap forward for you. So have we unmuted Nizam?
Yes, we have. Hamid, you may ask your question and speak.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. This is Hamid from Peshawar, an ACCA member working as the manager accounting and finance at Toyota Khyber Motors. एक प्रोजेक्ट हमारा currently सर कंस्ट्रक्शन इंडस्ट्री में चल रहा है. Access Wall and Apartments.
One second.
Please.
Let me answer your salam and welcome you. So wa alaikum assalam, and you are welcome. We will be discussing your feedback, but before that, how is the session going so far? I hope you are enjoying it. And how do you feel being a member of ACCA that we are the first body to be holding this session in Pakistan?
Alhamdulillah, sir. I'm feeling pretty proud that I'm an ACCA member. और इससे बढ़कर कोई बात मेरे लिए नहीं है कि मतलब ACCA is one of the major accounting bodies जो कि पाकिस्तान में इस तरह की सेशन जो है तो वो कंडक्ट करा रही है। और ऑब्वियसली जिस तरह आपने मेंशन किया थोड़ी देर पहले कि मतलब ये सेशन जो है मतलब वन ऑफ दी मतलब जो जिसका डिमांड बहुत ज्यादा है आजकल, क्योंकि मतलब सारी इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस है पाकिस्तान में, तो मतलब हर इंडस्ट्री जो है तो इससे इफेक्टेड है। तो इस रिलीफ को मतलब समझने के लिए मेरे ख्याल से मतलब हर बंदा जो है तो उस पर बैठा हुआ है कि यार इसको मैं समझूं और अपने अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को अगर मतलब इसका फायदा है तो उसको प्रॉपरली तरीके से उसके लिए अप्लाई करें और मतलब जो फायदा है वो गेन कर लें।
Very
तो
true.
यस, आई एम फीलिंग वेरी प्राउड।
That's great, and we are also proud of you. So, just very quickly coming back to what we were discussing, Hamid Sab, you mentioned that the gray structure is the dhancha, the unfinished structure. Would you like to elaborate?
यस सर, श्योर। मेरा जो मतलब है मतलब ग्रे स्ट्रक्चर, फॉर एग्जांपल बिल्कुल फ्लोर से आप एक ब्रिक्स का स्ट्रक्चर जो है तो वो शुरू करते हैं, ठीक है, आप बिल्कुल टॉप फ्लोर तक जाते हैं, ठीक है, जो अनफिनिश्ड एक आपको एक फिनिश्ड काइंड ऑफ फिनिश्ड गुड जो कि बिल्कुल अनफिनिश्ड हो, ठीक है, मतलब उसमें आपने अभी रंग वंग वगैरह नहीं किए, मैं बिल्कुल सिंपल टर्मिनोलॉजीज यूज करूंगा ताकि सारों चीज जो है तो समझ में आ जाए। और उसमें मतलब फिटिंग्स वगैरह नहीं हुए, काइंड ऑफ फिनिशिंग उसमें नहीं हुए हो, विदाउट फिनिशिंग मतलब वो जो फिनिशिंग वाला टच है वो उसमें नहीं हो, बाकी सारी चीजें जो है तो उसमें कंप्लीटेड हो। तो दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल्ड ए ग्रे स्ट्रक्चर सर।
Very, very well done, Hamid. Thank you very much. You can mute yourself again now.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
So, Hamid Saab must have some background in the construction industry because he explained it very well. What he said is pretty much the definition, but let's formally discuss it. So, a gray structure, in simple word, is what would look or appear gray when completed. So, if we elaborate that more, it means the completion of the foundation, walls, roof with the bricks, the cement plaster on the wall, underground water tank, roof water tank, septic tank. However, it would not include the boundary wall, none of the services like electric, sewage, woodwork, painting, flooring, marble, aluminium, steel work, or face work. So it's basically what Hamid also referred to, the brick structure, the plaster, the water tanks, etc., and obviously the foundation walls and roof developed on them. So a builder would only need to complete this structure, and the internal work, the wiring, electricity, sewage, woodwork, um, tiling, painting, etc., they are not required to be completed by way of the definition of the completion of the project. So if a builder would just complete the gray structure by the due date, it would be assumed that they have completed the project in terms of the requirement of this ordinance. On the other hand, for the developer, the date, the completion of project would be the date on which at least 50% of the total plots have been booked in the name of the buyers, and of those bookings at least 40% of the sales proceed have been received. The landscaping of those plots needs to be completed, and at least 50% of the roads would need to be laid up to the subgrade level as certified by the approving authority or NESPAC. So there are four conditions for a developer for the project to be termed as completed. Number one, the landscaping should be complete. Number two, at least 50% of the roads should be laid up to subgrade level and certified by the relevant approving authority. Number three, at least 50% of the plots should be booked in the name of the buyers, and at least 40% of the sales proceed from them being received off. Why? Because these entail some checks. Which checks? We'll discuss them in a bit, but I think now is the time to take some of your very interesting questions. Are you ready, Nizam, for the Q&A? While we'll get Nizam, let me just very quickly share with you that the ordinance became available. The actual draft of the ordinance I'm going to show you, and there's something very interesting written on top of the ordinance, which shares with us that this is the copy that has been given to the FPR as approved by the president, and the copy that would be published in the Gazette, the official Gazette, is yet to be released. And this copy was released by FPR only yesterday. Yesterday on FPR's website, and ACCA is delivering this session today. So how amazing is that? Anyway, I think we have Nizam with us now.
Yes, sure.
So let's start with the questions, Nizam. My most favorite part of every session.
Thank you. So I think these are comments on the gray structure we have right now. Do you want me to read them out?
No, Nizam, if you scroll up to Taha Askari, that's right after where you shared the link of the Google Drive for handouts. So the first question is there. And it's asked by Mr. Taha Askari.
Okay, I don't seem to find Mr. Taha's question. I'm sorry.
I'll go for this question myself. You just keep on scrolling up till you locate there. So Taha asked, what benefits or loss does the government foresee that it has enforced the requirement of the completion date of 30th September 2022? A very, very good question, Taha, and just the kind of question I expect from our attendees and our members. In fact, I would like to speak with Taha. Is it possible to unmute him, Nizam?
It is possible, sir.
Please do.
So it's Taha Askari.
Yes.
Am I correct, sir?
Yes, you are.
Okay, Taha, you need to unmute yourself and you will be able to converse. So yes, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa
alaikum salam, sir. How are you?
Okay, we need to hang on so one can go first. Let me do it. Assalamu alaikum and welcome, Taha. How are you and how are you enjoying the session today?
Wa alaikum salam, sir. I'm very well, and this session is very informative, and thank you for conducting it, sir.
The pleasure is all mine. Taha, would you like to quickly introduce yourself before we discuss about your question?
Absolutely, sir. So I'm an ACCA member. I've been working since over 8 years at 4 different banks, which includes Habib Bank, ICBC, Bank Alfala, and Telenor Microfinance. However, since the last 1 year, I've been working towards a startup, which I've been working, and we've pitched it to a corporate. It's a fintech startup. So basically, this is what I've been doing.
That's really amazing, and that's really good to know. So Taha, you have asked a very, very interesting question. How did you think of it? Are you in the construction industry?
No, sir, but we are very interested in this low housing scheme projects actually. And we actually pitched, I don't know if I should say this because I have an NDA signed with the corporate, but we wanted to explore this avenue of 3D printing with one of the corporates for building this low cost housing. I think if people are aware, if they've been following news, just recently, Dubai, there was a municipality company that was built by a 3D printing company.
Yeah.
So we have an interest over there, and we've been looking at options, and this certain corporate is also interested in hearing us out. So this is why I came up with this question.
That is really, really amazing, Taha, and it would be great for Pakistan. This is a really good question you have asked, and let me tell you why did the government enforce this? The thing is this, the government is focusing on two things. Number one, it wants the construction industry to start immediately and for the rest of this year, which is expected to be hit the most by this ongoing economic crisis, and not just in Pakistan, throughout the world. Head of ACCA Pakistan, Sajid, did a session a few days ago, and he shared some slides of projections by various different bodies across the globe, and most projections expect that if coronavirus is controlled, then from next year the economies can start reverting back to the normal, the new normal at least. So this year is the one that is critical. So the first thing that the government was looking for was to motivate the construction industry to go into action immediately. And for that, they have given the commencement clauses to start before 31st December 2020. Now, even if someone starts the project, they can really stall that. I mean, they got it approved, and the definition, the requirement of commencement as per the ordinance would be met, but the actual work would not be going on. So the actual aim of the government, of the money flowing into the sector, of the people getting work, of the different ancillary industries going into motion, the economic activity being generated wouldn't be happening. I hope you are with me. So just think about the
Yes,
commencement requirement. The commencement was only approval of the map or the plan. So that can be done with very little investment, especially if you are already holding the property. And even if you buy the property, that would not create the economic activity that is being envisaged. So this
absolutely.
requirement would actually push the builders and developers to go into action, to actually go in the construction activity, because they would need to be a bit efficient, if not more, if they are to complete the project within 2.5 years. So that is the reason for the government to enforce this requirement. I hope that answers the question.
It does, sir. Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir.
You are most welcome. You can mute yourself again. Let's continue with the other questions now. And Nizam, do you see, it's amazing. We have spoken to our two members, and mashallah, one is working in a very, very renowned company, and the other is also working in the fintech sector with one of the most upcoming technologies. So it's amazing how our members are doing all these wonderful stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. All efforts of our teams and around the globe, they work very hard. I, being an intern, I see them work for our members, students. So tremendous.
And our MNP and taxation committee also works very hard in consultation and in
Yeah, hats
collaboration
off to
with
them
our.
as well. I've been on a recent trip and it was very fruitful.
That's great. Okay, let's continue with the questions now, Nizam. Did you locate the other questions? The next one is by Muhammad
So,
Al-Mazhar Hassan.
yeah. So this is the same question I asked you some time earlier. General question: are the property prices going to rise after construction industry announcement?
So I hope this is not a planted question by you.
Oh, no, not at
On a
all.
light, that was on a lighter note. I know you well enough. Okay, Mazhar, that is a good question, and a question on many minds, many of the clients, many of the friends. In fact, Nizam here also asked me this question. In fact, I was discussing this with our partner and the chair of the Lahore Tax Bar ACCA License Committee, Ali Zahir Mir too, that what would be the impact on the property prices, because there are various factors you have to consider here. Number one is the economic slump, the economic downturn. People are going towards safety first approach. We have seen what happened with the markets, the oil markets, the physical delivery market contracts of Western Texas crashed yesterday, but that can be attributed to the current scenario plus the physical demand. We also know that in a scenario like this, in an unprecedented pandemic, most of the people tend to go for a safety first approach. However, with these incentives, many builders and developers and financial institutions are looking to work in the construction industry. So with all that work happening, what can happen? And the impact on supply and demand. So there are various factors. Uh, as we'll see in this ordinance, a sort of amnesty has been given. This amnesty covers the major practical hurdle which actually kept the investors away when the tax reforms regarding construction sector were introduced a few years back. So basically, Section 111 covers unexplained income and assets, and it basically allows FPR to ask anyone, where does your income and asset come from, because it doesn't conform with your declared sources or with your declared tax returns. So a lot of investors in Pakistan were not declaring a lot in their tax returns. unfortunately, the culture of tax avoidance, and even people coming from abroad were not normally making appropriate declarations as per the law. So when the tax reforms happened, although the law was already there, but the FPR started enforcing that for the construction sector. So what happened was that a lot of investors got scared that what will we answer, where did the money come from, we'll have to give the sources, we'll have to give the documentation. And people, especially people who did not either have the adequate record or who were involved in activities like tax avoidance, felt very uncomfortable. They took their monies out and went to other safe havens like the Gulf. um, we know for a fact that a lot of money that went out of Pakistan's construction industry went into Dubai, in UAE, and other states of the Emirate as well. So the major consideration of these investors was not tax; it was Section 111. So what this ordinance does is provide them an amnesty. So many of the people, many of our clients that I've spoken to in the construction industry too, are really hopeful that they'll be able to get at least a good number of those investors who stopped investing in Pakistan back now that this amnesty has been introduced. However, I believe there are a few points that needs refinement and clarification in this ordinance, and it would really depend on how many investors can be motivated and they come back in Pakistan before we can really assess and give a learned assessment of the price impact of the property sector. But one good thing would be that the depression on the prices of property might neutralize. To what extent and how much it goes into green, or whether it doesn't at all, remains to be seen as to the impact, the impact more so on the investors coming back in Pakistan, because the demand is still there, the genuine demand is there. What really drive the property sector in Pakistan, like in most of the developing countries, were investors. So I hope that answers your question in detail. I actually answered this question in detail because this is a very important question and it's important that we understand the economic repercussions. So let's continue, Nizam.
Thank you so much for answering the question, sir. So we have Nabil Ibrahim asking, a declaration is provided in the registration form under 11th schedule to the effect of percentage of the project completed up to the last date of the accounting period pertaining to the tax year 2019. So he wants an explanation on this point.
Sure. Nabil, I have explained this point before. First of all, welcome in the session, but let me just explain it again for you. Basically, we have discussed that the existing projects that were in existence before the commencement of this ordinance and that were not complete would be allowed to fall within the ambit of this ordinance. However, the work that was already completed would be treated for tax purposes under the tax laws in existence before the promulgation of this ordinance. So for that, the existing project would need to be segregated as to the proportion that was completed before the promulgation of the ordinance. So the last completed tax year was tax year 2019. So by the end of the accounting period that falls in tax year 2019 of that business, which is or individual that was running the project, would need to be segregated so that the percentage that was completed till that point in time can be treated as per the laws in force for tax year 2019. I hope that answers the question. Next one.
Saqib Latif, one of the most important definitions amended was that of industrial undertaking.